We tried to make a shader on Friday that changed in time with the music, but it didn't quite fit. What was our previous commit? Actually? Okay. That's a fixed commit. Okay, fix Android build profile. Okay, let's just say this is added a zigzag shader. I don't think we want that anymore. So we can just discard that. Okay, this one we just say update project settings. I know this isn't particularly fun, but we just want to make sure we get everything rolled in. Okay, before we start playing around. Okay, and then this is remove zigzag shader from world. Okay, cool. Alright, so what are we doing now? So we've got an enum to represent our phases. We say our current phase is phase 1. We've created a phase timer and that's going to be a 30 seconds, a one shot, and I'm not sure we want to auto start. Yeah, not quite. Okay, and I think we're going to build some GUI around this for each player. So right now we've got like a shared GUI, which looking back at this is probably not a good idea because each player is actually looking at the screen from different orientations, so it's kind of hard to represent that information in a way that people can see from both sides. Maybe I'll turn this into icons, I think, in a bit. I think maybe having the star icons up here makes sense, and then having a timer for each player. Plus maybe the weapon. We'll see. Okay, so we've got this timer, right, and it's gonna like slowly tick down. So what we want to do is we want to create an onReady reference, like a reference to this. Oh, you can get rid of that time manipulator as well. And we're going to call this phase timer, and it's just going to be equal to $phase timer. And when we're ready, we want to connect our phase timer timer.connect, and we want to listen to our timeout signal, and we want to connect it to our game state, and we'll call the handler on phase timer timeout. Right? Nice and easy. Okay, and this time manipulator can die. And so from this. Actually all of that stuff's to do with the time manipulator. Cool, well that simplifies our code a lot as well, doesn't it? Okay. So we're going to connect our timer to our game state, and that's pretty easy. We'll just jump into our game state here, and we just need to implement this handler. Do we have any handlers on this? No, we don't. This is our first handler. And when I say handler, I mean the signal handler. I don't think that takes any arguments. Okay, so let's just print phase ended here. Okay. Pass expression replaced. I'm writing the wrong programming language here. Okay, cool. So that's now our phase ended. And then what we want to do is we want to maybe just add a quick and dirty GUI for our time. I guess I'll just add it. Oh, I know what we could use. So there's a progress bar. And sorry, not progress bar. Texture progress. Right? And we'll say this is time. I'll just call this the clock. And what we can do here is put radio fill on. And let me remember, oh yeah, fill mode. So we can do clockwise. And then we just provide it some GUI textures. So what I might do, in fact, is I'm going to save this as a branch, as a scene in our GUI. And we're just going to call this clock. And now if I jump into this clock, we now have clock as an independent scene. I'm just going to bring up a sprite. Let's just plonk that here. Don't need to. Okay. So let's have a look at our tiles and see if there's something we can use in here maybe. We could just try starting with a single color. What does that do? He blushes. Alright, so let's do 8x8 grayscale on white. And just look. Alright, so if I save this as our GUI GUI, where's our clock? I think we haven't saved our clock yet. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Put it in the folder. Alright then. Something's gone wrong with this directory. I don't know what's happening. Let's just do it here then. So we've got our GUI clock, and we'll pop our clock inside there. Right. And let's just open our project again. Oh, okay, well that is unfortunate. That's why I use get to save you from these issues. It looks like our main hasn't actually changed. Okay, I think I shouldn't have moved that clock without outside of the Go. It does struggle with moving resources a lot. There you go. Alright. So yeah, I've run into this problem a few times. It's a bit frustrating. Okay, so now we've got our clock there, and then we can just save our background. For now, it's just going to be oh, I see what's happening. Yeah. So we've got a GUI inside a GUI, which isn't what we want. Let's close the scene, save this one, and move this here, and delete this GUI. Okay. Cool. Alright, and then let's save it again. Right. So we've got our clock as part of our GUI, and let's just save this background. This is getting annoying. Definitely there. Alright, I'm just going to save this inside our GUI directory then, and we'll just call this clock progress, and then we'll save as wow, I'm making a mess of this right now, aren't I? Simple clock, supposed to be, and yeah, okay, so we don't want that. Put a clock scene in there. Alright, so we're going to save as a PNG inside clock, so clock progress, and save as again, and we'll just call it clock PG. And I guess what we can do, in fact, so the BG is obviously just going to be like pure white to begin with. We'll figure out some colors later. And in the progress, I think we can sort of make this a like a bit of a circle. Cool. Alright. And I realize this is going to